Hello and welcome to this LinkedIn Masterclass for the South East London Business Network on how to master your visibility on LinkedIn. There has never been a better time to learn how to communicate and network with confidence on LinkedIn. Alongside the live webinar today, we will have a Q&A taking place in the South East London Business Network LinkedIn group. I have the URL for the group up on the screen. You just need to copy and paste this and put it in your browser and you'll be able to join in the Q&A there. Today in the webinar, I'm going to be doing roughly 45 minutes of training on LinkedIn. So the focus of this webinar will be on LinkedIn profile optimization and the strengthening of your personal brand in order to achieve maximum visibility. At the very end of the webinar, I'm going to touch briefly on next steps for those of you who need further help. And then lastly, we're going to touch on Q&A, which is my favorite. So I'm going to share a Calendly diary link at the very end. For those of you who have further questions, you can book in 15-minute slot with me. We can chat either on the phone or on Zoom. Otherwise, you can join my LinkedIn group. You can ask a question there, or you can email me, or you can direct message me on LinkedIn. I'm going to be sharing all of this contact information, but it's important to note that it's not just the webinar, there is a follow-up included, and I would like to continue the conversation with you all. If we're not already connected on LinkedIn, it would be great to link up with you there. I have listed my LinkedIn URL on the screen. Please send me a personalized connection request. All you have to say is that you have done this webinar and I will accept you as soon as possible. I've also listed my company page, my Super Connector. You can follow this page for top tips and updates on LinkedIn. I've also listed my LinkedIn group, which is called Networking Tips with My Super Connector. This group is a safe space, a place for you to ask questions if you want. It's a great way for us to continue the relationship following the webinar, so I hope to see a lot of you in the group. So why did you show up here today to listen to this webinar? Perhaps you're curious about how LinkedIn can work for you and your brand. Maybe you're tired of wasting time and resources trying to beat the elusive LinkedIn algorithm, and you've been creating content that isn't actually getting in front of your target audience. You know that building a personal brand online can drive results, but you're not quite sure where to get started when it comes to LinkedIn. Perhaps as a professional or a company, you don't have a large marketing team or a budget, an ad budget, so you need to get the word out about your services. Perhaps you've put a lot of work into your business and career to date, but you're not being recognized as the expert that you are. The stats up on the screen now were taken at the end of 2019. At that point in time, there were 675 million members in 200 countries and regions worldwide. You will note that there were almost 170 million users in the States and 28 million users in the UK. I believe that these figures have jumped up by about 5 million since the end of 2019, so LinkedIn is growing at a rapid pace. There are over 2 billion Facebook users in the world. However, the people using LinkedIn are in a business mindset. So this is what most of us think of when it comes to LinkedIn. We think of online CV, human resources, spammy salespeople in our inbox. We think of recruiters reaching out to us. We think of corporate, and we think of career services. So what exactly is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is an information-rich database of connections, company pages, and groups searchable by Google and LinkedIn's own algorithm. LinkedIn is a networking tool where you can see mutual connections with third parties. LinkedIn is a platform for growing personal brands and establishing experts. It's also a platform for showcasing endorsements and recommendations. LinkedIn is a way for potential clients to find what they need via LinkedIn search, LinkedIn groups, and via content through their first, second, and third degree connections. I've great news for everybody listening here today. LinkedIn works for absolutely everyone. So it works for all business types, all industries, and all career stages. So whether you're B2C or B2B or even a startup, LinkedIn can work for you. Whether you're running a salon or a coffee shop or you're considered an influencer, LinkedIn is the place to be. There are many reasons why I recommend LinkedIn to my clients. 1 out of every 3 professionals in the world is on LinkedIn. People on LinkedIn are in a business mindset and they have the money to invest in your product or services. LinkedIn is the #1 channel to distribute content. It has a fantastic organic reach and it's currently the most effective social media platform for B2B lead generation. There are many benefits of using LinkedIn. Firstly, to network. And there are 3 ways you can do this. So #1, it's the home feed. So all of those posts, those blogs, those videos, those comments, those likes, those shares. Secondly, LinkedIn Messenger. So they are the emails between you and one other person. And you can also have group messages in Messenger. You can send audio messages and you can send video messages. And lastly, you've got LinkedIn groups. You can also use LinkedIn for research and to gather market intelligence. You can develop brand awareness. You can generate leads and increase sales. You can find new partners and businesses to collaborate with. You can find potential employees or a new employer. And you can establish yourself as an expert and thought leader in your field by answering questions and posting on your preferred subject. Ultimately, it's an amazing database of professional users. I'm curious, where are you when it comes to the pyramid of success on LinkedIn? Are you absent? Do you have a profile but you never log on? Are you a lurker? Maybe you're lacking in confidence, you're hiding in the sidelines, you feel a bit intimidated? Are you a networker? Are you productive and you're beginning to see the results and influence that you want? Or perhaps you're an influencer and you're posting engaging content consistently and building relationships with your network. If you're absent, don't worry, you're about to get educated on the benefits of networking. If you're a lurker, hopefully the strategies I'll give you today will really help you. If you're a networker, I would advise some accountability, so join a community of engaged members like my LinkedIn group to support consistency. Generally, influencers are making some kind of contribution, so you need to find your purpose in order to really make a difference. So here are some ways in which you can master your visibility on LinkedIn. Firstly, you need to optimize your LinkedIn profile with branding and keywords. You have to be mindful of SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization. And just as this exists on your website, it also exists with your LinkedIn profile. You need to be mindful of your privacy and settings. Go in and explore them. You may need to turn off some features and turn on others. You can master your visibility on the home feed with posts, with videos, articles, comments, and documents. As I mentioned, you can do it via LinkedIn Messenger with one-to-one messages, group messages, audio and video messages. And lastly, via LinkedIn groups. So you can post in the home feed of a LinkedIn group, you can ask questions, you can comment, and you can build your network. Branded documents are quite a new feature of LinkedIn and they are fantastic for visibility. So on the screen now, I'm showcasing John Esperian, who is a technical copywriter. He is the master when it comes to branded documents. So check him out, follow him or send him a connection request and look at what he's doing with documents. Like any networking or social media networking, the secret to raising your visibility on LinkedIn is giving. I love this quote from Dale Carnegie, and it says, "You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you." So it's all about giving back to your network. It's not all about you. It's not all me, 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 me on the home feed. So ask yourself, how can you give back to other people in your network? Maybe it's by commenting and liking their posts. Maybe it's by sharing their posts. Maybe it's by introducing them to people in the back end in LinkedIn Messenger. Maybe it's by tagging them in posts that you think might be useful for them. Maybe it might be about sharing links with them in Messenger that you might think are valuable. Ask yourself, how can you give back to your network? When it comes to LinkedIn, whether it's your profile or any of your content or your connection strategy, you need to be mindful of three things: clarity, consistency, and community. You need to be super clear on what you're trying to achieve in your profile and in all your content. Like any networking, you need to be consistent in order to create that know, like, and trust factor. And as I said before, it's all about the giving, it's all about your community. Why is your personal brand necessary? So you might ask yourself, I'm a small company, I'm not a big brand like Amazon or Nike. Why do I need a personal brand? Well, your personal brand is your business. And we all have a personal brand, whether we're aware of it or not. To quote Jeff Bezos, your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. So your personal brand, it's your reputation and credibility, it's your personality, it's your online presence, and it's your energy. You need to be mindful that you come across as the same person offline and online. There's nothing worse if you meet someone in real life and they don't quite match their online persona. Think of it as online dating. It doesn't help to create that know, like, and trust factor. So at all times, be you. Don't try to copy anyone else. Be you. You'll enjoy LinkedIn a lot more. It'll become easier for you. And being you is your USP. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey as both an employee and a business owner on LinkedIn. So I started using LinkedIn about 15 years ago as a PA. I studied English and French back in Ireland and worked as an editor's assistant on a technology magazine. I spent a year in Australia and then I came to the UK and I was unable to break into publishing, so I rebranded myself as an executive PA. And I started to use LinkedIn to connect with my colleagues locally and then around the world, then my peers in the same way. Then I started to connect with suppliers, brand ambassadors, trainers, influencers, basically anybody that was interesting to me or was engaging and giving back to their network. Little by little, I started to post on the home feed, post in groups, share blogs and articles, and raise my profile as a thought leader. And I went on to win quite a few awards, regional, national, and global. So, in the top left hand corner, I won the title of the most networked PA in London because of my usage of LinkedIn. I then went on to win a National Rising Star Award from We Are the City. And then I went on to win a Global Super Achiever Award from Pitman Training. I've done all of my social media training with Pitman, so that was a really great honour. Fast forward a few years, and I quit my job in financial services as a PA. Basically, what happened was I slipped a disc. I had to have back surgery and get the disc taken out. So, for a month after my surgery, I was lying on the ground. I had a lot of time to think about my life, my future, where I was going with my life. So, I decided that I actually wanted to help more people. I really enjoyed using social media. I figured I was pretty good at it. I'd won all of these awards. I was ranked as the #1 PA in the UK online. And I slowly came to the realization that not everybody liked social media like me. They didn't find it easy. They were especially intimidated by LinkedIn. And I thought, I can help people to find their voice online. I want to share the LinkedIn love. And that's why I set up my company, My Super Connector. So I did that in 2017 and I've used it in pretty much the same way. I do a combination of the home feed, LinkedIn Messenger, and LinkedIn groups, and I connect with peers, suppliers, ambassadors, trainers, anyone that I find interesting and engaging. Basically, givers. I connect with givers. Life is too short to connect with takers. And I went on to achieve success as a business owner. I was highly commended for my commitment to the community by the Croydon Awards. I had helped a lot of companies in Croydon with volunteering on their social media. I also run events such as LinkedIn Local and She Means Business. I went on to win the title of Social Media Influencer from the Venus Awards, and I've had amazing opportunities. I was spotlighted in the F Entrepreneur campaign, which is showcasing inspiring business owners, female business owners in the UK. So I've been invited to Number 10 and to the House of Lords and featured on magazines and on the radio. As you will have heard, I've achieved great visibility using LinkedIn as both an employee and a business owner. And I'm sure that all of you listening into this webinar today can achieve visibility in some way if you follow my top tips. Today, I'm going to be showing you 3 simple LinkedIn profile tweaks that you can do, which will help you to position your brand with clarity and confidence, to attract the right audience and opportunities, to grow real life influence, and to generate visibility and leads, to build authority and expertise, to help you to connect to decision makers and action takers, and to create a career and business that you love. When it comes to your profile on LinkedIn, and indeed any content that you post out on LinkedIn, you need to be aware of AIDA, AIDA, which is the basic principle of copywriting. So you need to grab people's attention. You need to generate some kind of interest and spark a desire in them so that they are inclined to read on. And you need to get them to act. We need action takers on LinkedIn. The 3 ways to make an impact on LinkedIn are with your cover banner, your headshot, and your headline. Most people use the LinkedIn app and they will judge you on these 3 things, and then they will decide whether they want to read on and actually look at your profile. Up on the screen now, I have my LinkedIn cover banner, otherwise known as a cover photo, and this is the area behind my headshot, my head. You can see I have it branded. It's in my brand colors. We've got my logo. You can see at a glance that I'm a LinkedIn specialist. I've listed all of my services and I've also listed my website. Your cover photo is your opportunity to showcase your personality and to warm up your audience. So you need to think of it as your West End banner. People need to know at a glance what you do and how you can help them. You can create your own LinkedIn cover banner on a platform like Canva. If you're not great at graphics, I completely get it. I'm a bit graphically challenged myself. You can hire a graphic designer to help you or a virtual assistant who specializes in graphics. When it comes to your profile headshot, there are 2 things your profile headshot should be. The first is 400 by 400 pixels. Don't worry about this too much because when you go to upload it, it will tell you this. I also believe that your entire face should be centered and visible. This is not Instagram. This is not a place to get creative, artistic. I believe people need to see your eyes head on in order to generate that know, like, and trust factor. People need to be able to recognize you so that when they meet you at a face to face event, they know it's the same person. Ask yourself these questions when it comes to your profile headshot. Is it a selfie? Is it well lit and professional looking? Is it current? Does it even look like you? Do you look approachable? Do the colours you've chosen reflect your brand? Are you dressed suitably for the profession that you're representing? Would you want to do business with the person in the photo? If you are feeling brave and you want unbiased feedback from both the public and artificial intelligence, you can check out a website such as photofeeler.com. This is free to do, and you can load up a profile headshot or two, and then you are ranked. I actually did this when choosing my own headshot, and my current one was the one that scored the highest. I'd now like to touch a little bit on SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization. It's important to note when you're saving down photos, so either your profile photo or your cover photo, or indeed any kind of media that you attach to your profile, whether it's in the summary or any of your experience sections, that you give it a good name for SEO. So you can see on the screen, I have a very long name saved for both my profile photo and my cover photo. So my profile photo is Jennifer Corcoran, LinkedIn consultant, social media consultant, LinkedIn expert, United Kingdom. And yes, you can have a name that long, you can put in the commas. You need to think, what are your keywords? How do you want Google and LinkedIn to find you and index you in the search engine? And put that all in. And the same goes for your cover photo. So what does your business do? What do you offer? What are your keywords? So my cover photo is my super connector, so my company name, social media consultancy, LinkedIn consultancy, United Kingdom. So I've tried to cram in a few keywords there. People may find me through social media or through LinkedIn or through United Kingdom or through my company name. So you have to have a good think, what are your keywords? And once you've saved that photo, load it up. So you cannot do it the other way. So if you've already saved your profile photo as abc.png, you can't go into LinkedIn and save it again. You probably need to delete it off, then give it a proper name and upload it again. So hopefully this helps you. So this is just a screen grab of my headline. So we've got on the screen now, we've got the cover banner, the cover photo behind my head. And as I mentioned before, this is your West End banner. You can see at a glance, I've got my logo up there, my super connector. You can see I'm a LinkedIn trainer. You can see I do one-to-one training. I have an online program and workshops, and I'm also spotlighting my website URL. We've also talked about your profile headshot. Now we're down to the headline, which is the area underneath your name. I feel it's important to touch on your name before we actually dive into your headline. This is a mistake I see frequently made on LinkedIn. Your first and your last name should always be written in full. Don't use any initials, so for example, J. Corcoran, because nobody's going to look me up with an initial. You need to always capitalize the first letter of each of your names, so your first name and your surname. If you write everything in upper or lowercase, it doesn't look professional. You need to stay consistent. I mentioned this at the start: consistency, clarity, community. You should use exactly the same version of your name wherever it appears. As an example, don't use Jennifer if you use Jen everywhere else. Don't use any special characters or symbols within the name field. You can use characters or symbols within the headline, but when it comes to your name, just leave it as your name. And finally, LinkedIn allows you the option to include your maiden name in brackets. If that's appropriate to you and your career to date, I would advise that you use it. When it comes to your LinkedIn headline, you really need to have the X factor. Ask yourself, do you really stand out? The headline is the most common mistake made on LinkedIn. Your headline is not your job title. It's a lot more. Ask yourself, who are you? Who do you help and how do you help them? I've put an example up on the screen. We have John Smith translator on the left, and on the right we have John Smith, London-based translator, specialising in French, Spanish and Italian for the hospitality industry. Now, John on the right has a far greater chance of being found on LinkedIn with the LinkedIn search algorithm than John on the left does. There will be thousands of translators, if not millions. Whereas if you were actually going to search for someone like John, it's likely you would actually type in the word London if that was a keyword, then again translator, and then maybe one of the languages, and John will show up. He will not show up if you do not optimize the headline area. If you're still unsure as to what to put in your headline, let's go back to the 3 parts of the formula. So the first part is describe what you do. So this is your title. Ask yourself, how will people find you via the LinkedIn search function? Perhaps it's your job title or in a more general way. Whatever you choose, you need to be clear. I mentioned clarity at the start. Be super clear. To quote Seth Godin, not everyone is your customer, so be really clear in your headline as to who you help. If you only work with small companies or SMEs, stick it in there. If you only work in London, if you only work in the UK, stick it in there. Be super clear as to who you can help. And the third point is to add what value, benefit, or expertise you can bring to your target audience, using the most popular keywords within your industry or niche. If possible, you can include some kind of proof point that can really elevate your headline. So, for example, in my headline, I've listed that I'm an award-winning social media consultant, which helps me to build on my credibility and authority. Are you still stuck as to what to put in your headline? Hopefully these points will help you. Consider your location, your industry and sector, any specialism that you wish to highlight, your years of experience. So whether you have 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, stick that down. It all helps with the know, like, and trust. Have you won any awards or been nominated or shortlisted? What are your keywords? Can you inject some personality into that headline? Whatever you do, you need to be super specific and use clear language. At all times, you need to ask yourself, does this headline align with my personal brand and does it effectively deliver my value? Other areas to optimize, which can help to build on credibility, are your LinkedIn URL. So this is your unique link on LinkedIn. It's very good for branding. So I would advise everyone to delete off all those digits, those numbers and letters you have at the end. Customize it and make it branded. I'd also advise you to fully fill out your contact information. So many people don't do this. Make sure you put in your location and your industry. Fill out your summary, which is also known as your about section. Complete your experience and your education. When it comes to endorsements, you're allowed to feature 50. I would advise that you do this. Recommendations are fantastic social proof, so try and get as many as you can. I would also advise that you fully explore the accomplishments section of your profile, which is broken down into the following 9 categories: certifications, courses, honours and awards, languages, patents, projects, publications, test scores, and organisations. Now, I realise that not all of these will apply to you, but for a quick example, if you are a member of the South East London Business Network, you can put that in under organisations. I'm now going to touch on your SSI score, which stands for Social Selling Index. This is the metric built into the back end of LinkedIn, and it will help you measure and evaluate how effective you are at establishing your professional brand, finding the right people with LinkedIn search, engaging with insights, and building relationships. So this score, it's updated daily and it ranks you in 2 ways. Firstly, according to industry, and secondly, according to your network at large. I promise all will make sense in a slide or two. LinkedIn don't make it very easy for us. There's no way to just quickly click on your profile and find this score. You have to actually copy and paste the link I've put here. And once you type in that link, if you have LinkedIn open, it will take you into the back end of your profile. And I'll show you what that looks like now in the next slide. I'm putting the link again up on the screen. So you need to copy and paste this and then open it up and all will be revealed. So this is my SSI Social Selling Index score. I'm scoring 81 out of 100 and I'm in the top 1% of my industry, which is social media trainers, and I'm scoring in the top 3% of my network at large. So that's all of my connections mixed in. I have full marks for building relationships and almost full marks for establishing your professional brand. And that's what I say my expertise is when it comes to LinkedIn. I have a bit of work to do when it comes to search and finding the right people and also engaging with the insights and the analytics. So what I would advise today is for you all to note your SSI score, note it down, then do some tweaks based on my tips today, and you should see your score rise. And I'd love to know if that happens for you. All I'll say is don't get too hung up on the score. It's a rough gauge to let you know how you're doing. I want to let you all know about a community of LinkedIn trainers on LinkedIn known as the LinkedIn Rockstars. This was created a little bit over a year ago by an American LinkedIn trainer called Brenda Meller, who runs Meller Marketing. And every month she publishes stats on the percentage growth for LinkedIn trainers. She also has another list for any professional on LinkedIn, so you might want to check that out. This month I've been really lucky. I've jumped to the top of the list, so I'm number 1. And I would just urge you all to check out the list and follow all of the other LinkedIn trainers around the world. I don't profess to be the ultimate LinkedIn guru, and I think we all have something that you can learn from us. We will all have different approaches. My specialty is on the free version and connection strategy as opposed to premium or sales navigator or paid advertising. So definitely check out the list, check out Brenda and follow everyone. And if you're curious as to what the Rockstars stands for, I've just put that on the slide. And I think you can all apply this methodology to when you're using LinkedIn, and you really need to apply this in order to get full traction. So the R is for a real desire to help. So you need to be a giver, as I said before. The O is for outstanding knowledge, so you need to show your expertise on the platform as a thought leader. C is for caring. You need to be kind, really. You need to give back to your network. So the same for the next. K is for kind and giving. The S is for super connection. So being a super connector, introducing people in your network, giving back to your network. The T, it's for building that trust with your network. The A stands for actively engage. This is social media. You need to be social to make it work for you. You can't just rely on inbound. You have to be outbound as well. And R stands for relationship builder. So you have to build a relationship with your connections. They are human beings. I'm just quickly spotlighting some of my successes again, owing to LinkedIn. There's nothing particularly special about me as an employee or as a business owner. The 3 things I did on LinkedIn was number 1, I'm social. I actually am social with my network. It's not called social media for nothing. Number 2, I'm consistent. I show up consistently, so I've helped to generate the know, like, and trust. And number 3, it's all about community for me, giving back to my community, giving back to my network. So I follow the 80-20 rule, which is really 80% of the time you should be inspiring, motivating, engaging, educating, and the 20% should be a soft push about you. So it's all about your network, it's all about the giving. We mentioned Dale Carnegie at the start. It's all about giving back to your network. I'm going to quickly touch on some next steps for those of you who have watched this and think I need a little bit more help. I have created a LinkedIn profile success checklist, which is a PDF document, and it goes into a lot more detail than I have today on this webinar because we've got limited time. I realise that a lot of people are struggling with budget at the moment, so this is completely free, and to access the checklist you just need to subscribe to my mailing list on my website, so that's www.mysuperconnector.co.uk. If you've any trouble or problems with accessing that, please send me an email and I'll send you a copy. So my special offer today for the South East London Business Network is 50% off my LinkedIn one-to-one strategy session. These sessions are now done on Zoom. I share the screen with you, I bring up your LinkedIn profile, likewise you can share it on your end. We can fully optimize your profile, get it up to speed. We can also touch on your activity, so your content strategy or your connection strategy. And they're really a way to give you a boost, a kickstart, and hopefully build your confidence with LinkedIn. I'm very hands-on, and the session also includes an accountability, a follow-up email, if you like, a bit of homework to make you go away and actually implement what you've learned. So if you are interested in a session with me, please drop me an email. My details will be coming up. You can't actually get the discount directly on my site at the moment, so I would need to generate an invoice for you. For those of you who have listened today and thought to themselves, I need a bit more training on LinkedIn. I don't want to just jump straight into strategy. I need to build a solid foundation with my profile. I have another offer, which is 50% off my LinkedIn Profile Success Program, which is all completely online. It consists of two things. So the first is online training, which helps you go step by step through everything you need to do to make your profile work for you. And then at the very end of the course, which is completely self-paced, you can do it in your own time, we then book in a one-to-one strategy session with me on Zoom so we can troubleshoot everything you've learned and also touch on strategy. So this is usually £500, and until the end of June, because of coronavirus, I'm offering it for £250. You can book it directly on the website. You just click on the link on the screen, you put in that coupon code half off LPS 2020, and then you're automatically prompted to create a password. So you'll get immediate access to the course. You can then get in touch with me and we can book in your one-to-one, or you can wait till you finish the course and then we can do the one-to-one after. If you're a bit undecided as to what exactly you need to do, by all means, please book in for a free 15-minute discovery call with me. My Calendly link is up on the screen. I usually have the availability a month in advance, but given the current coronavirus climate, I'm doing this weekly. I'm also a volunteer with the NHS, so at the moment I'm offering between 10 and 20 discovery calls a week. If you go to the Calendly link and you don't see any availability, please email me and I will try and slot you in. That's it, folks. We've made it to the end of the webinar. Thanks so much for bearing with me today, and I hope that you got value from it. As I said at the very start, please reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn if we're not already linked up. My URL is up on the screen there, as well as my website and my email. I'm also on other social media platforms such as Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and Instagram. Of course, LinkedIn is the number one, so you'll always get me there much faster than the rest. Don't forget we have the live Q&A in the LinkedIn group for the South East London Business Network. Pop over there, ask me a question, have a browse, have a look at the other questions that have been asked, and hopefully you'll get some value from the answers there too. So thanks very much, folks. Wishing you all the best and stay safe. Take care.